Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is a very, very good friend of mine for many, many years now. He's probably one of the most gifted plastic surgeons that I know and that I've ever had any work done with. And I got to tell you, he is the man to go to. He is the most experienced gynecomastia surgeon in the world, and that's why I have him here today. We're going to talk about what gynecomastia is, how you can take care of it and address it, and answer all the questions that I've been getting over the last couple of months. Dr. Blau, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we know how long do we know each other now? Since what, 1990?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I'd say 20 years or more, yeah.
30 years we're going on, Modi.
30 years, that's right. 30
right,
years.
90, 2000, 2010. Yeah, 30 years, crazy.
1990, you're right, 30 years, yeah.
In 1991, Dr. Blau took out my gynecomastia. I had it seriously for like about 2 weeks, and I was ready to kill myself, and he removed it, and I was so happy with the results I got, so happy with there was no scars. It took this burden off of my head, because every time I was posed in the mirror and look in the mirror, I saw this thing hanging there. I hated it. That I started sending people to Dr. Blau, and it became a phenomenon, right? That wasn't even your major part of your practice back in the 1990, but it became essentially your whole practice at some point.
That's right. At that time, I used to do plastic facelift, noses, tummy tucks, everything. And with the time, I started to do bodybuilders. Where you sent a lot of them, and they sent me other people. And about 20 years ago, or a little more, I started to do people that are not bodybuilders. And it started with the U.S., it started with New York, of course, then it went to other states in the U.S., and now I have huge followers from Europe and from the Arabic country, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar.
Yeah, I know a guy from Dubai who flew in to get it done by you.
Dubai.
Yeah.
That's right. So a lot of them are coming here, and they're staying here in White Plains, and they're having the surgery.
Yeah.
So it really became kind of international from being local 30 years ago.
I mean, I'm sure you don't know the exact number. How many of these things do you think you've done over the years? How many gynecomastia surgeries? Yeah,
we calculated it's close to 10,000 men that did gynecomastia. And
that's
out
crazy.
of them, about 2,500 bodybuilders,
wow,
professional and not professional, and many, many other people. Yeah. We did adolescents. We do it even if it's very severe gynecomastia. We do it as young as 12.
I even know what transgender you did as well, right?
What?
You did a transgender gynecomastia.
Yeah, I did a few. As a matter of fact, I just did a few days ago.
Oh, you did?
Some transgender, and the way I do transgender is not the usual way. The scar is minimal, and the usual way, the scar is very, very large. And anyway, I don't know how they take the shirt after it. We do it minimal scar.
So it looks like you do it just like you would do a man?
Yeah, it looks like a man. It's practically scarless, or I'd say the scar is not that noticeable.
Wow. Yeah, you've pioneered a lot of different techniques when doing the surgery to minimize scarring, like you said, and removing most of the gland, which is, a lot of these surgeons leave in a lot of the gland, and they tell people, oh, if you take it out, it's going to ruin your chest. But for bodybuilders, it's kind of a different beast, wouldn't you say, Modi?
Yeah, bodybuilders, of course, because of the nature of what they're doing, it has to be complete.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't take it completely, I mean 98%, because you have to leave a little under the areola. Mm-hmm. If you don't take 98% of the gland tissue, which is the gynecomastia, there is a strong recurrence tendency. And a lot of people that come to me that had bodybuilders that had gynecomastia and it wasn't removed completely, it reoccur.
Yeah,
And then they
you
need
did a
a
lot of
second
revisions.
surgery.
You did a lot of revisions
Yeah,
on people.
we do a lot of revisions. I would say it's about 20% of my surgery.
Right.
1 out of 5 people
Right.
is revision after some other less experienced surgeons.
Now,
Also, I want to mention something before this. Unfortunately, today there are some non-plastic surgeons. There are general practitioners that claim they do plastic surgery, and some of them are even, I would say, internet or Instagram celebrities.
right.
And people believe because they're Instagram celebrity, then they good surgeon, but they're not. And you have to ask every surgeon if he's board eligible for plastic surgery.
Explain what that means. Not board certified, board eligible. What does that mean?
Yeah, board eligible means that if you want, you can take the board. Because when you ask those people, they say, if they're board certified, they say no because they don't want to pay. But as far as board eligible, it's not a matter of paying or not. It's a matter if you're eligible to take the board.
What gives you the right to be eligible to take the plastic surgery boards? What do you have to do to get qualified for that?
Okay, it's 8 years of training.
8 years. Okay.
8 years. So it means it's the longest training in medicine and surgery. And usually today they require also 2 years of fellowship.
Wow.
So today it's basically 10 years of training after medical school.
And we know, and you know today's society, Modi, no one has any patience to do anything. It's an instant gratification society, and a lot of these surgeons are not going through that rigorous process of becoming plastic surgeons.
That's right. But some of them are really internet celebrities. I say Instagram and YouTube celebrities, and people believe them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of them sign with the person that he cannot put any reviews and stuff like this. So some of them, even the review are fine because a person that comes for surgery with them has to sign that he cannot put
really? Interesting.
reviews of them.
Yeah, so because you know what? You could have a guy who's not certified who does 1 or 2 good ones, uses those as his way to say, hey, I'm good at this, and then he screws up a lot of other people. Look, you don't need to say it. I can say it because I work with so many bodybuilders. I've seen a lot of screwed up cases of gynecomastia. I've seen cases where it needed to be redone, and cases where most of the people I had to send back to you to fix it because fixing things is not as easy as actually doing it right from the beginning. So
that's it.
There's a lot of mistakes that can be done with this surgery, and there's a lot of scarring issues that can be done. So it's very important to you not try to save money on this procedure. It's like when women go for a facelift. You're not going to go to the cheapest guy. You're going to go to the best guy. I mean, because your face is something that people see all the time. Well, in bodybuilders, okay, we have our shirt off all the time. So the first thing you see is a person's chest. And, if you're looking to be a high-level bodybuilder and competitive bodybuilder, if you're going to get gynecomastia surgery and get those glands removed as a man, you better be sure you get it done by someone who knows what they're doing. Now, walk us through
the best thing.
You want to? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The best thing is to call the American Society of Plastic Surgery and ask the American Society. It's very easy to get them if he's a plastic surgeon.
Right.
Because some of those that became, one of them especially that becomes a celebrity because of Instagram, he's not cheap.
Right.
But people believe that if he's an Instagram celebrity and a YouTube celebrity, he's good. Yeah. But I suggest that you call the American Society of Plastic Surgery to see if it's legitimate. Mm-hmm. And that's very important.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You got to do your diligence. And I always tell people, look, if you're going to get this stuff done, go see Dr. Blau, because I know you do a lot of online and phone consults with people. They send you pictures, and then they come and get the surgery done by you. And it's easy. They come in, they stay a couple days, and I know you always take care of them price-wise, especially if they mention Dave Palumbo and RXMuscle. And you know what? The few extra dollars you spend getting it done by you the right way, it saves them a lifetime of being miserable with a scar or something that needs to be redone or something that wasn't done properly. And so this is, like I said, like a facelift on a woman. This is a very important surgery. It's probably the most important surgery you'll ever do as a bodybuilder. So I tell people, don't skip. Now, Modi, what's your surgery schedule like these days? How many days a week are you doing surgery?
Probably about 2 a day, 5 days a week. So I'd say
You're still doing that many?
Yes, about 10 surgeries a week.
What does a typical plastic surgeon do surgery-wise, gynecomastia-wise, excuse me?
A gynecomastia, I would say, according to the American Society of Plastic Surgery, between 3 and 5 a year.
And you're doing 10 a week?
So, yeah, I do it probably in 2 days. Yeah.
Wow.
But if somebody does general plastic surgery, it do also gynecomastia, but usually it doesn't have a lot of experience. In some cases, do fine. Other cases, unfortunately, it's not.
Now, when you do surgery, Modi, not to interrupt you, when you do surgery, walk us through what people should expect from the surgery. In other words, from when they get there, what's the process? What's the recovery? How do you send them home? Talk to us what you're doing during the surgery now when they get there, so people maybe are not as scared. Now, you also have a great Instagram that people can go on and they can look at some of the surgeries and before and afters you're doing. You have a great website, is it cosmeticmd.com?
Yeah, cosmetic-md.
-md.com. So people can see before and afters and everything like that. But I want to hear from your words and your mouth. Walk us through what happens when they walk in your office for that day of surgery.
Okay, let me tell you a few very important steps, very important thing for a gynecomastia surgeon. First, he has to show, and that's before and a year after.
Right.
Some people, if they just show immediately after, that's not enough.
Right.
We have in our website 3,000 pictures of before and a year after, and that's a must. You cannot show immediately after and not show long-term results. Now, when a person comes, first he has the consultation. Sometimes it's a telephone consultation. You send me the picture, and sometimes he comes here. If he's in New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, usually they're going to come to my office.
Right.
Then I'm going to discuss everything about that they have to know about gynecomastia. And I'm giving him also a copy of a book I wrote about 6 years ago. And it's really the only book about gynecomastia that is available. It's about 200 pages and a lot of material about gynecomastia. There's no other book. Now, once the book,
just not to interrupt you, but the book is very easy reading. It's not like a medical journal. There's stories in there. I'm in there. Actually, if anyone can guess who that is on the cover, it's not me. We'll give you a little. We'll give you a bonus plan. But that is one of a bodybuilder from New York that I talked into doing that photo shoot. He got a great result. He had it really bad too.
So that's a real patient.
Yeah.
It's not a patient I took from the. It's not a model. It's a real patient of mine that I did gynecomastia. And also in the book you see samples of patients, including bodybuilder, overweight people, young people, old people that I did gynecomastia with the results a year after the surgery. And really the results a day after the surgery means little. The most important thing, as I say, is a year after the surgery. If somebody doesn't have a lot of before and after with a year after the surgery, and it means that you don't know exactly what happened eventually.
Right. Maybe they needed to have another revision. Right, exactly.
That's right. And when I take the photo, and that's a must, I take the front, both sides, and both profile, and both 3/4. Means 5 photo. And like this, you also can learn, you see the 5 photos before the surgery and the same 5 after the surgery. Not only one pose, but 5 different angles.
Right. We got that.
So that's very, very important.
So walk us through the procedure. They come in. Are you doing most people under general now? I mean, you're knocking them out, or are you still doing local?
No, I do mainly under general, because then you can focus more, and you can. I think if you struggle with the local, when it's very small, that's okay. But when it's large, between the bleeding and everything, I think it's better to be sedated.
Okay.
So the anesthesia, we call it's a twilight.
Right.
A patient is going to be asleep in general, but it's not complete general. We don't intubate him.
Right.
Everything is done through the IV. And it's extremely safe. I can tell you from the last 30 years in my office, we never, ever had any incident, never had to transfer a patient to the hospital. And by the way, that's also an important point. The hospital is 1 block from my office.
Right.
And that's very important.
I like getting the surgery in your office, though, because it's a very it doesn't feel like you're actually in a doctor's office. It feels like you're in a very comfortable environment, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's important to have a hospital around, you know.
Oh, of course, in case, always more emergencies.
But in spite of this, we never, ever, ever, ever had to transfer a patient to the hospital because all 10,000 people.
Except for me, Modi. Let's not forget.
In the beginning.
I was the only person, and it was my own fault because I took nutritional supplements and I wouldn't stop bleeding.
But I'm talking as far as emergencies. I'm not talking after it because at that time, 30 years ago,
I always have to be the one case. No, actually, the initial surgery went well. I came back because I had some bleeding issues because I was taking nutritional supplements, vitamin E and fish oil. I didn't know you couldn't do that. This was in the very beginning. And now, obviously, you give out severe warnings. For 2 weeks prior to surgery, no nutritional supplements, right?
That's right. And fish oil, omegas, nutritional supplement, definitely.
Right. Nothing.
If you want to take anything, we will tell every patient to do it.
Right.
But again, today I don't use the hospital at all. At that time, I did use the hospital for a lot of surgeries.
Yeah.
Today, we're not using the hospital, and there's really no need. The anesthesiologists I use are the same 2 anesthesiologists that I used for many, many years.
Yeah.
And it's extremely safe. But again, I see the patient after the surgery. I'll see them a few days after the surgery. Then usually a few bands, 3, 6, and 12 bands. If people are very busy, they skip 1 or 2 of the.
If they don't live around the area, they can. I'm assuming they can send you pictures, probably.
Yeah, some of them do send pictures.
Okay.
And then we put it. We compare it with the before pictures, and many times we put it on the website.
Yeah. And how long does the procedure take normally?
Yeah, if it's I would say depends on the size of the gynecomastia.
Right.
And depends on the amount of bleeding. That's why we try to tell people to stop all the supplements and no aspirin, no fish oil.
Right.
If the bleeding is minimal, probably an hour to an hour and a half. If it's extremely large, it might take 2 hours. And the extreme severe might take 2.5 hours.
I've never seen a patient of yours in there over an hour. I got news for you.
Okay, yeah, most patients are under an hour. I must.
You're Dr. Blau is so fast, it's nervous wracking. I'll go in there and I used to get like a couple. I had a cyst here removed and one of my lat. He's so fast, you can't even believe the surgery's over already. So, but that comes with experience, right? I mean, the more you do it, obviously, I would assume the easier it becomes for you.
Absolutely, it's experience. I know how to look for the gland. The gland has a body, head, and a tail. And by the way, this is my contribution to the literature. I found all those 3 and I published it. I have many publications for plastic surgeon in the Journal of the American Society of Plastic Surgery, and also I lecture to the American Society of Plastic Surgery, International Society of Plastic Surgery, and American Society of Aesthetic Surgery. I think I'm probably one of the only people that regularly lecture to other board-certified plastic surgeons.
That's awesome.
And I want to tell you, in those conventions, there are about 3,000 plastic surgeons. So when I lecture, my audience is 3,000 board-certified plastic surgeons.
Well, I don't think that anyone ever thought that gynecomastia was going to be a very big procedure that plastic surgeons would do. They assume breast implants and liposuction and facelifts and nose jobs and that was going to be the big thing. And then you kind of really found your own niche, mostly, started because of the bodybuilders. But then I think regular people started realizing, hey, I don't like the way my chest looks. My whole life I've gotten made fun of. I've had this sagging tissue here. And now I think now it's much more acceptable, wouldn't you say, for regular people to come do this?
Yeah, now it's more acceptable. Say, because I remember 30 years ago, I mean, it wasn't that acceptable. Men were really not telling anybody else they had the surgery. Today we see people that are coming with friends, with parents, with girlfriends. So it's more acceptable now. And there are more procedures done in general, more gynecomastia procedures done in general. And today also, I want to focus for a minute about the very young people. I think the youngest one we did was less than 10 years old, but he had a huge gynecomastia.
Wow.
He had, and to let somebody like this live from this early age to puberty with large breasts, I mean, he can end with a lot of psychological problems. So,
right.
And since the surgery is a very for me that I do so much, we never had anything happen to anybody in the surgery. So it's very safe. I say it's extremely safe.
Right.
You can do it in an early age, but of course, in this age, you do it with coordination of maybe his physician, his parents, sometimes psychologists, etc. Just to make sure that he is mature enough to have the surgery.
I went to summer camp when I was a kid, and there was one of the kid who was on my bus, and when we would go to swimming, I felt so bad for this kid. He actually had women's breasts. They were so big, and of course we all tortured him because that's what kids do, right? So I could definitely see how it could be psychologically damaging for someone to have that situation, and it's great that there's someone like you who's actually doing something about it because parents just think, oh, wait till he gets to he's 18. Well, by the time he's 18, the kid is afraid to take a shirt off. He's afraid to interact with anyone because he's being he's being ridiculed by the other kids. So I think that there really isn't an age parameter on this if the condition is bad enough, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. I want again to. I said before that you need to see pictures before and a year after from different angles.
Right.
I'm still saying if a surgeon doesn't have many, and I'm talking about at least 100 pictures of before and a year after, he might be an internet celebrity, might be Instagram celebrity, but it means that the guy really doesn't have so much experience in the long term and maybe doesn't follow the people for long term, etc. So always look to see before and after pictures a year after.
Right.
A year after. It's very,
so 1 year
very
after is the key, yeah, because that's when it really looks the best. Now, let me ask you another question. A lot of bodybuilders are going to ask you this question, so we might as well get it out there. When can they start going back to working out again after the surgery? What's the healing time?
Yeah, so now, generally, 2 weeks after the surgery, people can start cardio and leg, and about between a month and 6 weeks after the surgery, any chest workup. Yeah. But it's very individual, so sometimes people have to wait more, sometimes you can start earlier, so usually it's the way they feel and with consultation with me. But I say 2 weeks cardio and a month or 6 weeks chest. That's
I was about 2 weeks, and I was doing pretty much everything. But once again, it depends on how you heal. I feel like once that first week is gone, Modi, and the bleeding is all stopped, and you're not draining anymore, that seems to be like the magical point in which the healing process really speeds up at that point.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. Otherwise, with the swelling, let's say you start early, then you have more swelling, more blood, and it takes much longer until it heals. And so we want people to be cautious for the first few weeks.
All right. Well, Modi, is there anything you want to add to the process that maybe I didn't think about? Any questions that you get on a regular basis that you think might be prudent to answer now?
People, again, safety is very important, and the most important thing is that you'll be done by a plastic surgeon. You have to know that he's a board-eligible plastic surgeon, and the most important thing, that he has a lot of experience with gynecomastia. That assure you that the results are going to be usually better.
Yeah. Your website is cosmetic-md.com. What's your handle on Instagram, Dr. Blau?
It's Mordecai Blau or Dr. Blau.
Yeah, it's Dr. Blau, I think.
Yeah.
He's got a great Instagram. He puts up a lot of surgeries he's doing. You could actually watch the procedures he's doing on his Instagram. And once again, the phone number is up on the website there. You can contact him anytime. Marianne, his secretary, is a super sweetheart, and they will get you in for a consult, or you'll be able to do a phone call with Dr. Blau. And once again, just mention that you RXMuscle Dave Palumbo sent you, and Dr. Blau will take very, very good care of you. Modi, thank you so much for coming on the show today, kind of filling in people on what it takes to get gynecomastia removed, what you should look for in a good surgeon, and what you could expect in terms of the surgery itself and the recovery process.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
All right, and once again, Dr. Blau and I have become such close friends over the years. I mean, we've gone down to dinner together. We've he's almost like my surrogate father in a sense, because whenever I have any issues, I always call him up and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, he's a very caring person. He's not just a great surgeon, but he really cares about his patients. And I think that's something that you don't find very often.
Now I'm waiting. I'll have to come to Florida to see you.
We're waiting. My kids haven't seen you yet.
No, I know. Honestly, I'll do it probably within the next few months.
Modi's very busy. He's a world traveler. He likes to go to Israel a lot and all around the world and see the sights. But all right, well, we're going to wrap things up here today. I'm Dave Palumbo for Dr. Blau. Remember, guys, when you look for a plastic surgeon, okay, you're not shopping for fruit, okay? This is a very important decision you're going to make. I highly suggest, even if you're not going to use Dr. Blau, at least call him up, do a consult, talk to him first so that you can get the right information and make the right decision. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.